Hey, thanks Emily for a quick introduction, and this is me Deepak. As Emily pointed out, I've been a BI consultant for past 8 years. I've been using Tableau for 4+ years. And about Tableau, yeah, it's a very intuitive tool, and it's easy to pick up, and visual analytics come to you very naturally, and Tableau does it very well. We all know that, and we have been using Tableau for a while. But let me tell you, how data visualization as a whole, as a picture, how does it translate to the user? And let me also try to help you guys to decode the theory behind that data visualization. When I say data visualization, this is two words, right? So let me start by telling more about data, which is very important when it comes to visualization, because if you're not understanding or feeling the volume of the data or the sense of the data you're going to present before your audience, it's no way that you going to present it right way. So let me start with data, and then let me jump to visualization, and then we'll see and explore what was happening in visualization in 17th century, and then how it evolved to the current situation, and also we'll see what's gonna happen, what's the future is going to give us and stuff. So, as I told you, I think Emily and Fee would have mentioned a lot of time. Tableau Fringe Festival is very exciting, guys. This is because you cannot learn everything on your own without help from others. People like Andy Cribble, Steve Wixler, Andy Codgrave, people like the real Tableau evangelist, right? They are doing it quite a big, and if you take something from here, and it's time to give back. So let me see how good I'm good in giving back to you guys. So as I told you, let me start. Okay, I'm here to do something. Okay, let me see. Oh, I'm here to teach Turkish. Good. And oh, I mean, my intention was to unveil the screen only after some time, but it went apart. That's okay. As I told you, I'm here to teach Turkish, and the medium I've chosen to teach you guys Turkish is, yeah, data visualization. So let me see how I do it, and stay with me. You're gonna really enjoy this session. I've I made sure that I'm trying to make you more engaged going forward and forward. So stick with me, and I'm let's start with the first word, Elma. What does Elma mean? As far as you know now, this is just 4 letters and it is in red in color. That's it, right? Okay, let's go one step further. The left side we have apple, and right side we have the word elma. So your basically your brain is now saying that the word elma in Turkish is nothing but apple in English, right? So that's about it, guys. So data visualization is all about impinging the information in user brain without even taking his full focus, just using his natural instinct, how you're going to uh, help him make insights out of it, help him make decisions out of it. It's all about that. Let's go further. Yeah, we go, as I told you, we are going to see about data visualization past, current, and future, and I've introduced myself. So let's, without any delay, let's move to the next slide. This is the agenda, guys. So if you're not interested about theory, you don't want, you are just waiting to see Tableau and Tableau around, I think it's time for me to minimize this video and go for a break and come back. So it's a 15 minutes session, and 20 minutes I'm going to talk about why do we need data, what can we do with data, what's data visualization, how can we do storytelling, and let's get into the past, present, and future. And definitely there are tips and tricks and some more gossips. What is gossips? What I'm trying to say is nothing but what are the gossip words around data visualization world, which we have been keep on talking and talking, and how far what we have achieved, and is there a real use case for those buzzwords and stuff. And finally we have question sessions. So why do we need data, guys? Data is all around us, isn't it? So definitely we need data to look at our past and see what we have done, and see our present, read it, and take some decisions on the future. That's all about. So let's say that my name is Deepak Prasad. So if the moment I say Deepak Prasad, let's say that it's not written anywhere in the world that my name is Deepak Prasad. So how? So there is a good saying that without data you are just a person with the opinion. It matters, right? So data is very important to validate what we already know, to encourage inquiry and guide continuous improvement. And that's and we have a proverb in the right as well: in God we trust, all of us bring data. That's been a sticker in my place wherever I work. So without data, if you come keep on talking, no one believes you, right? So that's the importance of data. So and also let's see what are the types of data, what are the different forms of data we have around the whole world, and how we are going to explore it without knowing the basics nitty gritty. Even if you have millions and billions of rows of data, and if you spend 3 or 4 weeks to explore it without understanding the basics, it will go and go on. So let's see the binary between data behind data. So data is basically a qualitative, either it can be qualitative form or quantitative form. So in qualitative it is either nominal or oh come on, I just promised you guys that it's going to be a entirely a visualization, right? So let me switch to a picture now. Yeah, let's talk about the dog which is in the picture. His name is Arrow. So let's talk about it. It's qualitative and quantitative. So data is basically in two forms. It can be either in two of the forms, which is qualitative or quantitative. When it comes to qualitative, let's talk about the same fellow in qualitative way, which is saying like he's brown and black, he has got a long hair, he has a lot of energy. And when it comes to quantitative, there are only two ways you can present a number, which is discrete or continuous, and Tableau handle it pretty much well. And you know it, blue is all discrete, green is all continuous, and whenever you pick a continuous axis and a measure, Tableau draws a line chart automatically. That's what I told you, right? Tableau has done a pretty much fantastic work when it comes to basic statistics, and it clearly tells you this is the way you have to go about the data. Even if you pick the data in a wrong way and put it, but it definitely shows you and represents the information in the right way. That's the power of Tableau, I believe in. So let's come back to the business. So quantitative, it's discrete or continuous. Discrete, what is discrete? Discrete cannot have a range. Can I say the arrow, the dog has just 4.5 legs? No, it can be either 4 legs or 2 legs. So it cannot have a range. It is always a single digit number, and it is an integer. It's not a float at any point in time, but it continuous is the other way. It's a float number. 25.5 kg, 5 centi 565 millimeter tall. What is the temperature today? Today afternoon it might be 26.2 degree. By evening it might come down to 15 degree, so on so on. So whenever you have a number which is with this, which is an integer, it's discrete, and in other way, if it's a float, it's a continuous as well. But there are some exceptions, guys. So let's say that there is an age factor. It can be a discrete and also continuous. So let's not go further and further and bore you. Let's move to the next slide. So let's see the complete cycle of data, what we can do with the data. So data is all about acquiring it, analyzing it, of course finding insights and visualizing it. That's what we're going to talk about. And of course predicting, machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning, and so on so on. So this is the theory. Basically, for you to acquire data, it has to be stored somewhere. So for the data to be stored, someone has to feed it. So that's the story, right? If someone is feeding the data, then it would be stored. Then once it is stored, then it would be acquired and analyzed, and insight comes out of it. And for easy purpose, there is something called as visualization. We are going to help people to visualize their data and make decisions. Yeah, I think I've used decisions quite a lot. That's because decision is because business intelligence, this tools we are talking about, the Tableau, MicroStrategy, Qlik, whatever the tools are, it's all coming in a arena called business intelligence, which is also called as decision support system, isn't it? So business intelligence is also called as decision support system. So when you say data visualization, one output from data visualization is a decision, which is very important as well. So that's the reason I might also repeat decision again and again and again. When it comes to data visualization, there comes a question like, okay, I'm a person, I'm just finished my engineering graduate or BSc, a bachelor's in something, and do I need any background to understand data visually? That's a question everyone asks, but let me put it very realistic and also in a perspective. If you want to know whether you are visually literate, just look at this picture, guys. If you can conceive it in a right way, then definitely you are visually literate, sorry. Visually literate. So that's what I'm trying to say. So it's all about natural instinct. So you have to design your visualization not only simple, you also have to consider certain things, like it can be used by anyone in the world, and it should be straight away consumed by them without any further explanation and stuff. So let's talk about visual variables, which is color, position, and form. uh, of course, these three things has to be color. When it comes to color, you have to pick the right color. When it comes to position, how you position your charts, what is the position of your data elements, and form. So let's explore further about this. When I talked about the three things, color, position, and form, let's talk about one basic quality which almost alleviates more confusion, I would say. Pre-attentive. What is pre-attentive? Anything which doesn't require your focus completely but still helps you to understand something very easily. That's pre-attentive, right? So for example, let's say that I'm talking about a dog. I talked about a dog, and if I had a theory of around 5 to 10 lines, just imagine how long it's going to take for you to understand whether it's about a dog and what they are saying. But if I visually put the information and then tell you, the time it's going to take us very less, right? So that's pre-attentive. So pre-attentive is one important stuff when it comes to visualization. So let's say that how much time is going to take that the circle in the red color is an outlier, how much time you will take to identify that? Definitely not less than 2 seconds. Same here, all are squares but except a dot. And at the same time, you should not bombard both shapes and colors and confuse people, right? And what is this data ink ratio? It's been told by a person called Edward Tufte. I strongly recommend you guys to follow all the blogs, books of Edward Tufte. He's like he's an ancestor in data visualization. He clearly gave us some rules and regulations to come up with a better data visualization. What is data ink ratio? Let's start to think about it. Data ink ratio is nothing but amount of data ink. What's data ink? Okay, data ink is anything, any color, any form you try to express your data in your dashboard, it's called data ink. Anything other than that, example, your title, your subtitle, your filter, sorry, not filter, your title and a subtitle and a theoretical explanation of what your chart is, it's all not about data ink. It's just about your data and how you aggregating your numbers, how you're showing your numbers. It's either bar chart or a line chart. What's on your axis, what's on your subtitle, what's on your axis subtitle. It's all data ink. Okay. Definitely you might have got bored by now, so let me show something in Tableau just to tell that definitely I have Tableau open for you guys. Yeah, so the color is all how hue it is and how intensity it is, and position is all, see. But the moment you see it, this guy is an outlier. And form, come on, it's going to definitely take 5 to 6 seconds for you to find the outlier, that it's a problem here, and there's a volume, this is definitely thick, and this is a long line, and this is a shape which is not in aligned with other shapes, and when it comes to size and closure. And color best practice, as I told you, definitely not going to bombard the colors on people. You're going to keep it very colorblind safe. When it comes to choosing colorblind safe, I strongly recommend you guys to use website like colorbrewer2.org or Coolers, COOLORS. There are definitely many palettes available which is easily available to the public. And choose your colors, and remember, 1% of females and 10% of males are colorblind. So usage of red, yellow, green color in your dashboard has to be very, very you have to be very careful. Oh, there is some instruction. Let me see what it is. Oh, I have to go back to the slide too. Okay, sorry, let me go to the next slide. It's about accuracy ranking. Sorry. So let's say that I've talked about color, volume, area, enclosures and stuff. This is the way to put out. If you wanted to show something very accurate to the by using visual principles we call color, form and stuff, This is the way to go about it, guys. So position which is more accurate, and when we go down and down, the accuracy rank is going down as well. So this is one good point to note. So position, length is all factors. So when, let's say that you have a map which has a light blue to dark blue divergent chart, in a map, a divergent color in a map, for the people, definitely darker blue is definitely going to make them a sense. But as the gradient goes down and down and down, can you imagine how tough for the user to find who's doing better, who's doing not, and stuff. So position takes number one, and length, and goes on. Let's see the power of visualization. Let's say that I'm going to give you guys a direction how to reach from a place X, and how to go to Y. Let's say that I'm printing this information in a paper and I'm giving it to you. How long it's gonna take? Definitely more. But what if I give this information to you in this form? Definitely not more than 5-6 seconds. But let's go further down and apply the visual principles and set to this way. Definitely, right? It's going to make a lot of sense. And see, I don't have to spend more time. I don't have a background like this yellow color, and I don't, if I am going from a place X to Y, why I am really bothered about other places around, right? So that's definitely not my data ink. And why do I need a yellow background when I'm not at all bothered? What I really want is a route to reach my destination, which is clearly presented. And in fact, some summary details are presented here, which is 5 minutes to reach and 2.16 miles and total of 6 steps takes. So 6 steps are listed out here, and what is the distance. This is improvisation phase. Anyone in the world, whoever says that they are data visualization master, they got mastery skills and stuff, whoever it is, definitely if you look at their first visualization, you wouldn't believe the final end product what they have put before you guys. So that's what I feel, even in my practice as well. Always feel that improvisation, without improvisation, if you can make your data visualization pretty much good in very first attempt, then you are something else. You are definitely not human, I would say. So when it comes to data visualization, you have to definitely go through a lot of improvisation steps. Then you will definitely come up with a very good final product. When I say visualization, let's see what is the anatomy of a visualization. Okay, I told you in the start, if you think about just 10-15 slides before, I told you guys there should be a context set before telling a story. What if if I have showed you the word Elma before even telling you that I'm going to teach you guys Turkish? That's very important, right? So setting the context for the dashboard and how you're using the color, which is very important as well, and helping the people to find the outliers straight away. They know this is a sales dashboard, but tell me how long it's going to take that something is wrong going on. If I would have put green, orange, red, brown, all the, of course, all the colors in the world in the same dashboard, imagine how long it's going to take. But see this dashboard, it's a sample dashboard taken out from Tableau Public. See how neatly it is laid out. I can clearly see that some profit is not going good. It's in red color, and south is when it comes to region, south is not doing good. And when it comes to revenue, and revenue when it comes to state level, something is not happening in this state. And overall the good customers, it's very easy for me to conceive. And also the context is set, and the data is of this date, and all currency expressed in this dollars. It's all good, right? Let's go to the real visualization itself. So by saying the title sales dashboard, it's done, and that's it's the context of the dashboard. And I have a map which has all the 50 states, and I'm definitely say that Montana is not doing good. These are the good customers. I can give them some memberships, loyalty cards, so that they come up to me again and again. Yeah. So this is how you have to design a dashboard. So just to reiterate, the framework sets the stage, and content, which is mark, point, symbol, line, area box, whatever you're using, is very important as well. And the title and access plays an important role as well. And as I told you, the metric, all currency is expressed in US dollars. I mean, things like this might look very silly if you know the complete business acumen of this dashboard, but listen and think again and again who are all going to be using your dashboard. If it's going to be only your business persons, then definitely not things like all currencies is expressed in US dollars, or doesn't need to be there. But think about if you're someone is newly entering into your organization, is a salesperson, he doesn't even know what all the countries you operate on. Yeah, you have to think about certain things like that as well. And rule of thirds, what is this rule of thirds? So it's about placing your information. Let's consider this is a dashboard. These are all the area, the bold, the dark lines, those are all the areas that has your user attention. And Tableau's also done a quite a interesting work in researching when I put a dashboard before a person, by tracking their eye in the camera, they have found out that this is the area where most of the time is spent. So, good place to put things, third of the way up, and things like that. You have to be very careful. Let's move to the next slide and see with an example. See the hero of this picture, the main content of this picture is cycle. See, if I would have placed the cycle in this box, I'm definitely my context goes to cycle. I'm looking at the details of the cycle. But if I put the same picture for cycle, do you think my I would be focusing on cycle? I would be rather focusing on this tree or something else behind the tree without the grids for you. So this makes a lot of sense, right? This rule of thirds is another good thing that to be kept in your mind when you are designing a dashboard. And final thing is how, when the emphasized and neither emphasized nor de-emphasized part. And this is a very good dashboard to see before designing your elements for your dashboard. And this is very theoretical, guys. I don't want to bore you further. So how to design your visualization when it comes to design element, the pattern, the arrangement of how it's all, it definitely this slide is going to be passed further, so you can get this information and move step by step and design your vis. And a 5-second rule. What is a 5-second rule? When it comes to this visualization, how long does it take for you to conceive that this visualization is all about pork consumption and the revenue it is generating across the world, right? So the pork consumption when it comes to a leg, tail, ears, and flesh, how, the various parts have been clearly marked out, the blue and red, and it has been told clearly explaining you how much revenue generated. So the 5-second rule is very important when it comes to dashboard. Anything, if any info dashboard, if it takes more than 5 seconds for the information to be perceived by the user, then definitely you might have to remark it again for your users. How to lie with the vis? This is very important as well, because let's say that you have data, and what if you showed the data wrongly, not wrongly in terms of quality of the data, in terms of wrongly expressed, how it has been expressed in your dashboard and how the information is conceived. Let's look at the scenario. This title says that it's a case about the shrinking family doctor in California, which clearly tells me that family doctors are shrinking down in California. Yeah, let's look at the numbers. 1964 there were 27% of doctor, 1965 75 there's 16%, and 1992 definitely there's a drop in number, right? And yeah, you see the visualization, the doctor size of the doctor icon also going down and down. But let's get into the real numbers behind this. In 1964, the population here is 2,247. But if you see 1975, it's 3,167. And if you see, definitely the doctors are growing. I mean, the doctors' number is going. But why the percentages are coming down and down? That's because the population. So it's very important, yeah. So 1 is to 2,247 is a ratio to the population, and that's very important as well. So let's move to the next point. What was happening in data visualization? The history of data visualization. So it started from 14th century. It was all maps and diagrams before, and then the measurement and theory came, and they had sizes and the new graphic forms, and the golden age started from 1900, and after 2000, that everything, this was the complete history. And there is a very good PDF that's available in internet. When you type history of data visualization, I mean I in fact took it from there. So the references has all the details. So when you get the deck, you look for the references, you will get more information on what happened before 2000 and from 14th century. So when after 2000, that's what happened, right? So after 2000, it was not visual analytics at all. It was initially reporting and distribution. Let's say that I'm a sales manager for California and there's another person, sales manager for Montana. Everyone gets a report daily in the morning saying that these are all the areas to look for. These are all the salesperson who are doing good and bad. So it's basically bespoke reporting. Everyone wanted the reporting for their own consumption, for their own decision, and everyone wanted it custom tailored way. And tools like Cognos, MicroStrategy, and SAP Business Objects has done it by creating cubes. When I say cubes, it's nothing but summarized information for your own data. Instead of having a single row for each of your order, if I say that in furnitures, if you have 2000 orders and in table you have 5000 orders, it's all summary information. So depending upon the visualization, the data is all aggregated and saved as cubes, and then it's consumed, and that's how the performance was handled before. But look at now, we got something called as in-memory analytics. In-memory analytics means, yeah, everything happens in RAM and it's blazing fast. Visual analytics is happening in just seconds. Tableau is making it happen. And self-service analytics, that has also happened after 2014, I would say. That the word has been at least boomed after that. After 2014, everyone, whoever wants to play with the data, they've been given a space. Like you now, let's talk about Tableau server. If you have a authoring access, you can log into Tableau visualization and you can start building your dashboard if you're connected to the right data source right from your browser. You don't have to install a software and go through all of it again. And yeah, self-service analytics at scale as well. Right now my user consumption is around, let's say, 20 people. Tomorrow it would be 100, and as more people see, more people talk about it, and the users might increase. So you have to manage your infrastructure, your RAM, hard disk, how far your network is, if you are putting it in cloud, whether you can scale it up or scale it out. Yeah, when I say scale it up, it's like adding the RAM in this for the same computer. When I say scale out, it is like adding more resources, more separate physical servers, and how you're connecting it and putting it for the performance. So 2000s, when it comes to 2000, it's all about bespoke reporting and distributing to the directly to their mailbox and visualizing using the cubes. But when it comes to 2017, the current year, it's all about doing it on their own and from the memory, in memory. And these are all the tools right now who are ruling the market: Tableau, Qlik, Power BI, Burst, Spotfire, SAP Lumira. It's all in memory analytics, and they are doing it very nicely. And Tableau definitely is the leader in that. Yeah, here is a Gartner quadrant as of February 2017. Definitely Tableau and Microsoft is leading the game. And as per my knowledge and whatever I have studied so far and whatever I have experienced, I am thinking that this is how the future of database is going to be. It's, see, imagine by 2020, do you think anyone wants to spend more than 5 minutes in building a dashboard? No way. Like it should be like either voice guided like Siri, or it's going to be a garbage. Although you have all the garbage data, in 2020 it's all going to be like, although it's going to be garbage in and insights out kind of stuff, and you definitely need connection to any database that anyone can imagine. And of course, natural language processing, text mining, and literacy of data. What's data? So do I really need to know about your data before exploring it? These are all the questions that comes to any data visualization person, right? So after, I think by 2020, this all will go for a toss. Anyone who doesn't even know about your data can still explore and play with it. They don't need to clean it, massage it. Everything should be taken care by the data visualization tool itself. And definitely cloud and governance. Say, when it comes to governance, what comes to my mind first is, okay, if I am using a data from a particular database, and if I feel that the data quality is good and I've used it and I've enriched it and I've presented it before certain users, but what is the guarantee that the data is correct? Someone has to certify. The certification procedure is all going to be very natural after 2000, by 2020. It's all I believe in. Okay, now let's go to the interesting part. Tableau tips and tricks. Without wasting time, let's move to Tableau. Excuse me. So when it comes to Tableau tips and tricks, I'm going to concentrate more on order of operation, how Tableau filters your data layer by layer. It starts with extract filter, then it moves to data source filter and context filter and so on. And when it comes to pre-visualization operation, like how when do you create your extract from your database. Extract is nothing but a temporary database that's been created in Tableau itself. For the people who are non-Tableau users here, it's a TDE file that Tableau saves when you want to create an extract. So you can mention, let's say that you wanted, okay, let me try to do some drawing if it's possible at all, but I will stop it if it's not working. Please bear with me. Okay, I think it's possible. Let me see. Let's say that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows in my database, and I wanted to create an extract in which I wanted only this thing. So I will write a condition wherein I say I wanted only 1, 2, 3. I don't want it for 5. So my .tde file will have only 1, 2, and 3. And when it comes to my visualization, let's say that I wanted to really talk about this too. So the next layer would be data source filter, which talks only about 1 and 2. So like this, how the order of operation when it comes to filtering data, how it works, and let's see about that. So as I told you, definitely extract filter is the first one, and data source filter and context filter. And then you have sets, conditions, and top end filters, and you have LODs. What is LOD? When do we really need to LOD? I mean, when we really need to do LOD expression? That's a very good question that everyone would have. There are even in interviews people would ask LOD questions, but according to me, before using something, there should be a series of questions you should ask to yourself. Why do I need it? When should I use it? Kind of questions. So let's see an example of why do we need it. Okay, let's say we wanted to use LOD, and why do we need it is a question we need to ask. That's what I've been telling. So let's see with an example. So let's say that I have my category, and I have my sales. Let's say that I wanted to, so okay, let's go with a bar chart. So let's say that I wanted a bar which tells me the total sales in parallel to each of the bar. As you see this, the visualization LOD for this specific sheet is category. Category decides that each and every row, every mark here is a category. So we have 17 marks here and one column which is a sale. So what I wanted is a total sale, which is a single entity. So I don't wanted 17 rows, but I wanted only one row, which is a whole sum of sales. So I am basically going against my category. So let's see how I do it. So this is a LOD feature. So if you put it inside a curly braces, so I say that I wanted sum of sales, right? Yeah, this is the total sum of sales. So although I have the level of detail as category, I didn't respect that, and I came up with a number just by putting a curly braces around my expression. So whenever this curly braces comes, It's level of detail. So let me not waste much time on this and move fast with my tips and tricks. So as I told you, this is when you have to decide that whenever you wanted to go against your visualization LOD, you have to use LOD calculations. That's the intended message I wanted to say. So let's start with the first step, guys, and it is going to be very fast. I think within 10 minutes we are going to be finishing. So definitely this video is going to be available offline as well for future help. Yeah. So for SQL lovers, so let me start with a fresh Tableau. For SQL lovers, the first thing that they would miss after coming into Tableau world is like, why I'm not able to write query. Tableau is doing everything. Am I getting lost in touch with SQL and stuff? So let's see. Let's say that you have an Excel sheet and you wanted to write a SQL query. That's possible if you open any Excel with a option called Open with Legacy Connection. So I'm going to say Open with Legacy Connection, and sorry, first let me click the Excel, and if I say Open with Legacy Connection, yeah, it will open with the word Excel Legacy. So let's say that I wanted to add an order. I'm ordering a I'm dragging and dropping people and returns. I need all the tables, and Tableau, you know how smart it is just join this by the field names which is in common. So order ID and order ID is there in both orders and returns, and region is there in both people and orders. So the association is already done, but I wanted to write a SQL query and see how, also I'm curious to see how Tableau is executing this query. So there is an option here, click data, and the moment you say that convert to custom SQL, see what happens. This gets converted to a custom SQL query, and you can see how Tableau has constructed this query. So this would be very very good tip for the people who came into come from SQL and see how Tableau is writing the query, whether you like it or you wanted to do it in your own way. So this is the way to do, guys. The option is data, and then use choosing convert to custom SQL. So that's it. That's the first step. Second tip. Okay, I talked about order of operations, right? So I told you guys that fixed works before dimension filters. So this one, dimension filters, works before fixed LOD. Sorry, after fixed LOD, and fixed LOD works before. So let's see with an example. Let's say that I have a line chart. One line chart does just say that sum of sales, and one is written with LOD expression. So let's see what is that LOD expression I've written. So I've written that I fixed the sum of sales just for this month. So no matter what I choose here, nothing moves. So let's say that I've unticked two regions, and if you see if you see fixed says I don't care, because I fixed, this expression, the second expression, whatever I showed you before, I fixed it for this date. So it says I don't care, but this guy, whatever selections, unselection, selections I've made in region, it respects that and came down. This is nothing but sum of sales, nothing more. But if you see here, this is like LOD expression. Sorry if I had to zoom out. I fixed it for months. So that is the difference between both of these green pills. In one I have fixed, in one I didn't fix it. For the one I have fixed it, it is not respecting dimension filters, and the one, but there is a question like when fixed respects dimensions. So the moment, so as soon as I click this and this, nothing happens. This fixed is nothing moving at all. But the moment if I say I'm adding it to the context, did you just see what happened? Fixed now says I don't care, but I respect context filter. So going back to the theory, fixed and context filter is here. So context filter is the first and foremost layer before fixed LOD. As soon as you add the region to the context, again it changes. Now I've chosen central, and now I'm clicking Illinois, Indiana, and so on, and this see the second line is moving and the first line is still staying because I've not added state to context set. So that's about this one. And visual analytics, that's what we are talking about, right? So let's have a quick tick about it. So when I see this chart, I clearly see that these are all the spread of my data, distribution of my data, and this is the average, and it's all good. But how I'm going to make it visually appealing for the users, right? So this is what I have come up with. This is nothing but just a calculation which says that sum of sales is minus the window average. When I say window average, is window average when it comes to sales. And if you see my window average calculation, this is the calculation I've written: window average sum of sales, and I've computed it again for category. If you see, so this is for all category, this is the average, and I'm subtracting it from that sum of sales. So basically, let's say that I'm writing a calculation like I'm writing it here. That's a feature available after sum of sales minus sum of window average. Let me try to write it directly. Window average of sum of sales. Oh, it's throwing error because I already have a calculation. So let me keep it very simple. So I'm just written sum of sales minus the window average, and I've dropped it on size, and I've colored it using the same. But if you see from from central tendency number, which is average, if I deduct sum of sales, for there would be two values, right? Positive and negative. To make it positive and negative to a positive alone, I've used ABS function, and that's the reason for the change in size. So the second question is, this is a one tip I presented in Sydney Tableau user group, which everyone liked as well. This is scatter plot, and I know that it's between sales and profit. But what I don't know now is, I know category binders is definitely doing good, and it's yielding good uh, profit, because its profit axis, it's increasing. So as the sales increasing, the profit is also increasing for binders. But I don't know how good it is, right? So what if I draw one more layer of a circle, which is the maximum here? Let's see the solution here. Let's say that I'm taking the same case. Oh, did you see this? Because it's a dual axis, guys. If you see, I have two I've created another sum of profit, which is nothing but a maximum window maximum of this whole, which is this one. So as soon as I hover around the circle, I mean over around any data element, it is showing what is the max for this whole scatter plot. So this one is just a sum of profit, and another is a window max of this whole sum of profits. So, and since I have created the second one with bigger size, I mean not the size and the opacity and everything, I have reduced to keep it transparent. Sorry. So if you see the opacity, I've kept it transparent, otherwise it would hide the circle, I mean hide other elements. Since I have kept it transparent, it is just activated only if I hover around it. So this is a very good tip as well. When you use window max, so let's see the expression. So the expression I have written is window max of sum of sales, and I am placing it on the size. So what's happening is, basically, although this all sized by all the single elements are all sized in their own way of their own metric, the other one, which is sized by the maximum, so that, and I've increased the opacity so that whenever I hover around a single data element, it's highlighting it for me. So without further delay, let's move to the sets. So there's always a question like, let's find a customers who have bought two items. If you have, let's say that you have a category like this, and if you try to select only appliance and binders, let's take situation like this, what will happen is, it will have customers who has bought binders alone as well, but I don't want them. I wanted someone who has bought both appliances and binders. So to do this, let's see what are all the steps involved. So I basically I have created a set, and I have created a condition which says, if category, I mean for this example, I've taken two categories, which is paper and labels. So I'll make sure I will get only customers who have bought both the items, paper and labels. So this is the calculation I've written. What I'm saying is for every customer. So if you click on the C, I have created this set from customers. So for every customers, if they have bought paper, return 1. If they have bought label, then return 1. And if so, the 1 plus 1 should be equal to 2. So this is the condition I've written. So it will make sure that it will see everyone has bought both paper and labels. So this is the one. And this is really a good short tip which I discovered very recently, subtotal. So for switching off subtotals, there's an option here itself, so you can switch it off right over here, and the subtotaling pane and how it is subtotal changes. If you want to activate it again, it is there here. So it is just when you have multiple hierarchy put and you wanted to switch on subtotals for each and everything, see it's on for in category level now. And if you wanted it only for department level, I will switch it off. So this is a way to go around it. And this tip, which is my favorite one as well. So let's say that I wanted to come up with the average for all the department. And easiest way to do is just drag average line, and I put it on pane, and this is all done. But what if I wanted to band it up? So let's say that I wanted to band it up like I wanted to have a band from here to here. So I click on it, I say edit reference line, and I say I'm saying fill below with a color like this. But only drawback I have here is it's all gray now. It's not like green, orange and blue. The band color is not changing. Let's say that I wanted a change. So then you have this one. So what I have done is basically I have taken a window average of sum of sales. So if you see, this is what would happen, right? If I drop window average for sum of sales for every pane, the bar would be like this. But then what I've done is I've increased the size of the bar. So you have two measure values and you have dropped it, and this is how Tableau treats them and colors it, and it's a banding. So this Tableau dashboard will be available in public. I will activate it so that you can download and see what I have done. So I would not have to waste more time, explain more on this. So this is very interesting one. So let's say that I have a department and category, but what I wanted is whenever I hover around department, I wanted to know what are all the categories in that department in the tooltip. So basically I wanted book charts, bookcases, chairs, office furnishings and tables in a single tooltip like this. But how would you do it? That's a question. So the answer is here. It's using leveraging table calculation. See what I have done. So basically what I have done is if index is equal to 1. So index basically would do index, it would be like say serial numbers that like you would put it in any Excel, but how it has to be calculated is it has to be either in pane or the whole table wise. So let's see with an example. So furniture, I'm saying that I've created an index calculation which says that it is calculated for department. If you see compute using, it's table down. So what initially it does, it doesn't respect. Okay, let me put it entire view so that okay, sorry. So let me put it like this. So what index does is right now I'm saying compute using table down. So it will start counting from here. It says 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and so on. But the moment I have turned it to compute using pane down, see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4 and this would start again because this is one pane. This is one complete pane. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and the indexing again starts for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And same with the size. How I'm setting the computing is very important. So basically I am saying if the index is equal to 1, then take bookcases. If it is equal to 2, then take whatever is in the previous row, put a comma and then take chairs and chairmans. So let's see the calculation again. So index is equal to 1 here. So it took bookcases, and when it or else it will take the previous value. So in this case it would be 2. So it would go to the else condition. It would take the previous value of category and then put a comma, and then it would put this category. So it goes on and it comes to this. But think about the user. Does he really want to see how you have built the string? No, right? So I have written another calculation called last value. So the last record, what it does is I'm checking on a condition wherein index is equal to size. If you index, if so 4 is equal to 4 when it comes to this one, right? When I say, if you see only the last row tables will have index also 4 and size is equal to also 4. So when I drag and drop this condition and I say that I wanted only true conditions, then only the last row for every pane would be showing. So if I take so if I remove category now, for it would be like, if I, for every department in tooltip, I'm able to see what is happening in categories. So for department I have now 1 2 3 4 and it is all separated by comma. So this is the power of table calculations and very handy trick as well. And finally the simple tip, just symbols. So when I say that I want, for positive numbers I need a up arrow, and for negative numbers it's a down arrow, and it's a very good tip which I use it often. So the it's very simple. So for you go into custom and positive, you the clipart can be downloaded anywhere in the Google, the the Unicode characters. So for up arrow I just copied and pasted, and for down arrow I copied and pasted. It's very easy. And that's it from me for tips and tricks. Just a recap, I told how to use SQL. For SQL lovers, I told how to connect to Excel in legacy way and create a custom SQL query. And for I explained how fixed LOD works, and I showed you how window average helped me in uh, putting down the size of the circle visually appealing, and quick trick on totals and subtotal, and set explanation on how I created that calculation. And that's it. And yeah, buzzwords. What are the buzzwords that's going around us? So what is big data? The big data is a one buzzword that's going around for a long time, and people say that it's about 4 V's. So let's see what are all the 4 V's. It's about volume, velocity, variety, and veracity. So volume is about how big and stuff is. Velocity is how how fast you can manipulate your data, and retrieving it and or uploading it, downloading it, the flow of the data. And variety, whether I have a video file, audio file, and how I'm able to analyze in today's big data environment. And veracity is nothing but the governance around it. Let's let's talk about a real use case in big data. Let's say that you're going to Woolworths today, and have you ever imagined how your store is arranged? Have you ever seen any Woolworth or Coles or any supermarkets around you having kept milk, bread, and egg in the very first entrance? In the very first row. That wouldn't be the case, right? Because the milk, bread, and egg would be always kept in the last. So you would go and when you are going towards that, you would see something else attractive and get it. So that is not a decision that's been made right over the moment then when the retailers started evolving. It is all came up once they analyzed the data. They took the video clippings of people, how they are walking, how, what are all the items they are picking and stuff. So this is a very good use case I always take when it comes to big data. And yeah, finally let's end with happy face. Yeah, I am happy because the session has come to end, and thanks a lot for all your support, guys. And I know I have run fast in certain places just in respect of time. And okay, what's this happy face telling me? Mutlu. Okay, I promised you guys I'm going to teach you guys Turkish through data visualization, and I'm ending it with a reverse way of telling me first picture and then word. So that's the that's the final touch. And thanks a lot. The references, whatever is there, it's all nothing from me alone. It's I've done enough researches and I've put the references. And thanks to Fee and Emily once again. And thanks a lot. And my company also supported me in presenting. I'm currently working for a company called ASG. And yeah, now it's open for people to ask questions. Thank you.